I think that's what's in there.
Where are the
Because it's a red can.
Like the ingredients?
Tomato, salt, lime. Ew.
Were they not allowed to
Not a fan, I don't think.
Can they
I don't know, actually.
not put ingredients on this shit? Or is that the ingredients?
I don't know.
That's probably the ingredients, honestly.
There's just no beer in there.
Gross.
Tastes like winners.
Okay, well.
God, Pabst Blue Ribbon's super watery.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like more watery than like your average Bush or Natty. It's weird.
Goes down smooth. Alright, everybody. Welcome back to the Brown Bricks podcast. The most fun amount of fun you can have while listening to a podcast. What do we call our fans? We need to come up with a fan name.
Brickies.
The Bricks.
The Bricks. Yeah.
What's up, Bricks?
We got a bunch of messages from the Bricks the other day.
Yeah?
No.
We're making shit up now.
The same ones. Not the same people, but just like the same general messages. People saying like, dig the show.
Cool. Very nice. Well, thank you guys.
So thank you.
Thanks
for anyone who sent anything in. And if you haven't, fuck you. Email us.
Yeah. I know there's at least probably like 30 or so of you who haven't emailed us. Get on that shit.
Yeah. We've got a couple strange beer flavors here, I guess. This wasn't really on the docket, but we've got Pabst coffee.
Yeah, hard coffee.
coffee.
It's only 5% alcohol, though, so, I mean, I'm very curious about this. I'm definitely...
And then...
And we got Modelo Picante. It's like a... I don't know, like a tomato flavor.
Is it
yeah,
savory?
It's not bad. It's savory. It's like a Bloody Mary.
Beer?
Savory
It's
beer.
like a Bloody Mary.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like SpaghettiOs. You know those SpaghettiOs
This looks like a fucking...
Whoa.
Beer.
That is weird. Yeah, that is like a Bloody Mary. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's oddly...
Kind of a fan.
It's oddly not bad.
It feels like it would keep down like the drunk cravings. Drinking something like that because it feels like it's got a body to it.
Oh, wow.
It's like you're eating something. It's like
a soup.
It's weird.
It's
It
like
feels
soup.
like there's like a spice in the back of it too. It's not like spicy, but it feels like there's like
there's a bit of something in there.
Something going on. Yeah.
Cool.
Also, this looks like the PBR hard coffee looks like a fucking Red Bull can.
So it's smaller than the usual PBR cans.
Smells like coffee.
That's good.
Tastes like coffee. Yeah.
Just tastes like coffee.
Tastes like very like milky coffee.
It's 5%. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little, not really that strong of an alcohol flavor.
Yeah, I'm really surprised how little there is in there. It doesn't taste like spiked coffee either. It tastes just like regular ass coffee.
Yeah. What? Shit.
I don't know.
Not bad.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't really like coffee, but I think I'd drink that. Because I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Well, it's just sad, just like pouring that in like a coffee cup. Just like in the morning.
Not
even
even
to work with a fucking
it's
PBR
like
hard coffee.
Yeah, not
It's
even
like 7:30. You're like, oh fuck, work, and you crack open a PBR hard coffee.
That would be so
Hell yeah.
sad. It's not even the level of dignity that you get when you pour brandy into your coffee. So at least you're like refined. You're opening a fucking PBR hard
like
coffee.
You're a fucking 70s detective.
Yeah.
Pouring your brandy in.
Now you're just a shitty hipster who also is an alcoholic.
Yeah, you're an office lady. It's got to get to work in the morning.
It's really
she
chocolatey.
Can't get there without her coffee or her alcohol. This is making me hungry. This shit right there is like making me want to get a soup or some shit.
Soup.
It's not bad.
I talked with I talked with somebody the other day, and I think we were talking about like soup beforehand, so this is why I remembered it. But you'll be proud of me because when I was talking to them,
You had a non-awkward social interaction.
no, of course it was obviously awkward. But I was talking to this one Tinder girl, and I was watching Vinland Saga, and she was like, "What show are you watching?" And I said, "Vinland Saga. It's a show about Vikings. My friends recommended it to me. It's pretty cool." And then she says,
cool.
"Just looked it up. Cool." And then she's like, "Well, what other kind of shows do you like to watch?" And I'm like, "What shows do you like to watch?" And I was like, "Parks and Rec," and then we just got off on that. And so clearly,
Oh no,
it's not a winner.
If my bitch doesn't like Vinland Saga, she can get the fuck out.
Hey, May, she hasn't seen it. She just looked it up. She was like, cool.
True.
I
was thinking about watching that show Vikings, but I heard it gets pretty bad later on.
I remember when I went to Comic-Con, I had to sit outside for like 4 hours in order to get onto this Viking tour bus that was like one of those aquatic buses, so it would like go on land and then into the water.
Yeah.
But the reason we did that was because we got like a Viking chalice, which was like a horn or whatever that had like Vikings on it that you could drink out of. It was pretty cool. And so we would just wear that around. We'd drink out of that. But I was not 21 at the time, which would have made that thing way cooler.
Way fucking cool. So you've not seen the show?
I've not. No, but that's the most I got.
That's
from
just
it.
tangentially related.
I have nothing but good things to say about the show that I haven't seen, and I have no idea what it's about.
Is that the comedy?
It's not comedy.
Viking. Okay.
Oh, that's
Norseman, I think, or something like that.
Is that comedy?
Asterix and what's the one? What's the one like French show?
No. I'm not talking about that, but Asterix and Obelix. Or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
In the French.
Are those Vikings?
In French class.
Is that...
I've never heard of this.
Okay, it's a fat guy and a small guy, and it's a classic French cartoon.
Oh, okay, of course.
L'anime.
Of course.
L'anime de français.
French cartoon. What's the fucking... Oh, man, it'd be funny if I could remember things.
Moomins?
That would be so funny if I could remember, like, half the things I want to say.
That would be great.
Fucking, what's the people who got shot up because they...
Charlie Hebdo?
Yeah, Charlie Hebdo.
Like, Je suis obelisk.
Classic French comic, Charlie Hebdo.
That was the I don't know, the Muslim caliphate got really fucking pissed about the fact that they were like, we really like Vikings, and it feels like you guys are just making a big joke.
You guys are making fun of Vikings too much. No more.
Those guys were cool as fuck, okay?
That's something people don't realize about the Middle Eastern world. They really love Vikings because they just raped and pillaged all of Europe.
They're like, man, they've got something good going on there.
Yeah, they really know what they're about.
Yeah, they were like, well, these people who were like the pinnacle
they
of
hate
enlightenment
Christians as well.
Before
exactly.
we raped and pillaged them and turned our but Pakistan is a horrible place to live in after all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With all the terrorist attacks and the roadside bombings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I also
okay.
Yeah.
You said that weirdly and sing.
No,
throwback.
It's the song. Yeah, we made when we were very young. We made a song about how horrible Pakistan was. Because I don't know. My dad from a young age, he indoctrinated me into the black pill lifestyle. He's like, women on Tinder sites, look at this date. I'm like, Dad, you're married.
What the fuck are you talking?
I've been reading some Tinder experiment threads.
See, that's why your dad's trying to get you away from the Eastern mysticism. He knows it won't help you get laid.
Yeah, he's like,
I've been down that path.
He knows. My dad was a huge black pill back in college, and then like afterwards, he's like, I guess I should just settle down and become a wage cuck.
Yeah.
But deep in his mind, he's like, I know Jack's going down the same path. I see him in that.
Gotta set him straight.
Set him on that Christian God, but fucking, yeah, I don't know. I was watching. This is just a horrible segue, but it was before the terrorist attack thing. I was gonna say that I was like watching like a what's his face Captain Christian video. He's like a YouTube analyst guy who has like a very aesthetic style of kind of preaching his analyses. He's cool for most of it, but I watched one of his on like Fooly Cooly because I'd never seen it before, and I clicked on it, and there's this really fucking annoying thing that happens in every YouTube analysis video from a person who like doesn't really watch anime, but they're like, I'm gonna analyze this anime because I really like it.
Yeah.
They always say like, anime in general is meant to go on forever, and they show like a picture of Naruto, but it's like, but not Fooly Cooly. That's only 6 episodes. I'm like, so you just don't watch anime.
So you don't know what you're talking.
So you have no fucking, because it's the idea that okay, if you were comparing like Full Metal Alchemist to Naruto, I could understand where it's like the general shonen makeup is normally something that can be perpetual, but the idea behind Full Metal Alchemist is that it had a beginning, middle, and end, and kind of wrap things up succinctly. But you're comparing fucking Fooly Cooly to Naruto. there's like no similarities whatsoever. They just hear that Naruto and Bleach and like One Piece have 1 billion episodes,
go on forever.
And they're like, I guess that's all anime ever.
All meant to go on for. I mean, if you really take any piece of media, the ideal would be to make it go on forever as long as it's popular, and that's what people do with fucking movie series and comics and bullshit and video games that are successful. And you're like, well, yeah. That's just capitalism. It's straight up. Just if it sells, make more.
It is weird with games though, because I guess the appeal in them is really different. Because like movies, there's a sense of I want to see these characters again. Like there's a weird parasocial attachment. Too. Yeah, but
it's like more of an experience you want.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on the like series, I guess. Because not often will you get like just because these characters are good, I want to see them again in games. Like, oh, I like this gameplay a lot, like COD, or like this gameplay appeals to the masses enough that they can mass produce it. FIFA.
I mean, you get to like things like Melee, where people like that gameplay enough that they're like, we're just gonna keep playing this game and not take showers. Yeah, it's I just think it's weird because like inherently the gameplay's not gonna change. It's like you can keep replaying the game that you want to replay, but they're just like, but I just want that, but again, and the company's more than happy to oblige most of the time, but.
I mean, there's like plenty of games that I still play that are considered like old, I guess.
Like Cyberpunk.
Yeah, Cyberpunk considered old. Jesus Christ,
it's considered old.
I'll get that in like a year when it's on sale for like $30,
and it doesn't kill your computer.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of like weird bugs going on with that, isn't there? Isn't that?
Yeah, it's like mostly visual stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Dick slipping through.
Yeah, it's like a lot of visual because it's such
yeah.
And like most of the AIs are just like. The people in the world are like completely uninteractable, of course. They're just like bodies just to populate the world, which is fine, I guess. I don't hate that idea because not every fucking NPC needs to be a fully fleshed out character. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But it does.
Did The Witcher have that level of
feel a bit lackluster?
Kind of?
No. Okay. But you couldn't just like kill people in The Witcher. That wasn't a thing. Witcher's just a story, like a way more story-based RPG, like character-based RPG than Cyberpunk is.
What is Cyberpunk even about? Like,
Cyberpunk is about you, the character V. You can choose like one of 3 different backgrounds, and then you meet up with this guy named Jackie, and you get this job. Like the whole intro is like a fuck long amount of time. It's like a big old intro before you actually get into like the meat of the plot, where you steal this chip from the Arasaka Corporation, and you have to, in order to save the chip, you have to insert it into your head. And it turns out on the chip was Keanu Reeves, and it just replays all of Keanu Reeves' movies back to back inside your mind, and that's just the rest of the game. People were really confused. They thought Keanu Reeves was going to play like a big role, but it turns out
you just watched The Matrix Reloaded like 8 times, and then the game's over.
It's pretty crazy.
You can pause the movie, but that's all the interaction you get in the game. Everyone was really excited. Yeah. They put this whole character creator in for like 3 hours.
And then that's it. That's the end. It's pretty fucked up. That's what the future's gonna be like, though, and you just play movies in your head.
It's pretty prescient, I think. We're gonna play back movies to experience The Matrix. The Matrix Reloaded's gonna be the only.
It's a bit different because it's not. Well, it's not the movies like you're not like watching them like you're sitting on a couch. It's like the movies, but you're in Keanu Reeves' perspective in the movies.
So like Ready Player One.
yeah. Except you have no control over everything. You're just watching the movie through Keanu Reeves. So you don't even get to see like parts of the movie that Keanu doesn't see.
I'm imagining instead it's literally just Keanu like sitting on a couch like watching his movie, and occasionally he'll be like, I love that part.
Oh, that's cool. I think it'd be funny if Johnny Silverhand. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about the real thing. In reality, you do put the chip in your head, and it does have Keanu Reeves in it, but he was a terrorist known as Johnny Silverhand, who's also like a rocker, and he wants to bring down all the megacorps. And so you kind of work with him in your brain, and I don't know what happens after that. There's probably a bunch of different endings. I don't give a shit.
Can I work with the megacorps to
I think so.
Okay, cool.
I think you could probably do
I like this game.
You could probably do some evil ending stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure, actually, but that would be cool if that was in there, and I hope it is, because that would be a nice thing to add in your RPG where you're supposed to make meaningful decisions.
Didn't fucking Final Fantasy VII win RPG of the Year?
Was there an award for RPG of the Year?
For in Game Awards, yeah.
I don't remember.
I just because I guess with RPGs, like Cyberpunk definitely feels like one because you are role playing in that game. You're barely role playing as Cloud in Final Fantasy VII.
Cloud is role playing as a human being.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're not like making any meaningful decisions as Cloud that will like change Cloud. You are adding stats to certain different things, and you're role playing in the sense that like I beat people up for him, and then I watch the cutscenes. I don't know, like role playing games. Just because everything has RPG elements now, like Call of Duty has RPG elements and nonsense. Like it's so nebulous what is a role playing game and what isn't.
It's just a RPG. RPG. It's a rocket propelled grenade. Everybody knows this. Fucking dummy.
I don't.
Yeah, Game Awards were a sham, of course, but who
Except
cares?
for Sephiroth.
Sephiroth is cool, but that wasn't an award, so that doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, that's it's so funny how everyone going into it was like, yeah, The Last of Us 2 is gonna just win everything.
Just win it. It's like,
and then it did.
Of course. What did you expect, Billy?
It's like the most Oscar baity award it's the most Oscar baity game in all of them. Because most of the other ones were like, I guess, like anything that is very story focused and takes itself uber seriously is probably going to win a lot of awards.
I thought I got a lot of flack from like just the general public.
Well, I got flack from gamers because gamers are fucking retarded.
Like the story is like actually good. Apparently,
I think it's okay. It's not groundbreaking. It's certainly not fucking god tier movie quality story writing. Movies are shit. So let me rephrase that. I'm not saying movies are good, but it's not. It's certainly
movies
not
as a
medium
story. Suck ass. I hate them all.
Yes, I agree with that. But I think overall, very competent gameplay from what I saw. People just like to hate. People like to talk shit. And people didn't like what they did to Joel. Mostly.
Which is funny, because he was, like, a piece of shit in the last game. Yeah, like, I haven't played this one.
The point of, like, the last game is, like, you're a bad person in the eyes of others. Like, everyone's a bad person in the eyes of others in that world, because you're all fucking murderers.
Yeah, and because you have to be. But Joel, I mean... Literally,
he got what was coming to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he did the same thing to other characters, and you're like, but now it happens to Joel, and now I'm
the beloved
upset.
character that is Joel Schumacher.
But again, a big problem with that is that I think Joel probably held up a lot of the original story in terms of his interactions with Ellie and stuff like that. That was like way more compelling compared to Ellie's interactions with her big-nosed girlfriend. I don't even know the character's name.
Squidward. Yeah. I think, well, because I mean, in general, I guess it's my masculine bias talking, but we get to the point where I think that, like, father-daughter relationships are a lot more interesting than, like romantic relationships. Just
way
because
more compelling.
You can have...
Especially lesbians.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Those are the best kind of gay.
Yeah, but they don't fuck in the game, do they?
No, maybe. I don't remember.
Well, I'm gonna have to play the game to find
14, out. Or
no,
it's not a time skip.
Oh, it's a time skip.
No, they're still 14, and there's just a 23-year-old Squidward walking around with Ellie fucking her.
It's not an immediate sequel, no. So,
but
some time has passed.
Yeah, no, I think overall, like, I guess, because that's why I liked Nier Gestalt more than I liked, more than Nier Replicant, because Nier Replicant, I guess, like, the sister-brother dynamic is just, like, it's weird that it's that, like, because, I mean, the sister-brother dynamic in the US is more, like, alright, I love you, but, like, also... kind of hate you on a lot of aspects, but like the undying like love for a kid feels way more in line with what they were going for than like the...
It makes way more sense to me. One of my favorite game series, Banner Saga, in the first game you get to make the decision whether or not like as a father character, like you can send your daughter out to die, or you can like volunteer yourself to do this thing. You don't know that they're gonna die, of course, when you do it in the story, but afterwards, the choice you made leads to either the daughter taking over as head of the caravan, or you continuing on as the dad with your daughter dead. And it's way more compelling to be the dad who, like, lost his daughter, and he's like, he has nothing to lose now, but he feels like all of these people are, like, relying on him, so he can't let them down. He doesn't want to do it anymore, but he's like, okay, well, now I have to keep going for the sake... Because my daughter gave her life to protect these people, so I guess I have to take responsibility for that.
Yeah, that sounds super compelling.
Way more compelling than a daughter being like,
well, I guess my dad's dead.
My dad died, and
I still like these guys.
All these people don't really like me as leader because I'm a little girl. And, like, that has its own conflicts, but it's just not as compelling. It's not the next level up of melancholy.
Yeah, because it's a woman.
Yeah. And I don't think they should be leaders.
Well, they shouldn't. Not even I don't think. They're just, like, objectively, genetically, they shouldn't. Just saying to our 15% female audience.
Well, they wouldn't be watching this or listening to this if they didn't feel the exact same way.
Just fucking self-loathing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just... Yeah, it's a harder thing to sell, but gamers are... I'm not gonna side with the people that are like, oh, it's fucking stupid that they're lesbians now, or that Abby's got a big fat clit because she's so roided out. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't understand.
You're so weird.
I don't understand people
You're such
who
a weirdo.
Get, like, up in arms about that. Like, there's plenty of other things to, like, criticize about. Like, if you hate a game, that feels like just something where... They understand, like, they hate the game for reasons that they can't articulate, but then they're just like, well, but there's also trans people in it. And so then they point at that. It just seems like they're not able to, like, think about too critically about, like, that part of the media.
There are good reasons to not like it, and a lot of people don't voice those reasons because they don't understand themselves why they don't like it. Or they do understand themselves, and why they don't like it is wrong. You're a bad person.
Oh man,
that's why.
Oh shit, the Tinder girl who fucking was just like cool to Banner Saga. I said, she was like, if you were on like a desert island and you could only bring one show, what would you bring? And I'd be like, I don't know, I have to think on it. And she said like Parks and Rec, and I was like, I think The Simpsons would probably be pretty good because there's like a billion episodes of that. And they're all, like, extremely rewatchable. Like, The Simpsons would be a good show to do that. And, like, they're amazing. Yeah. But then she was like, ew. Like,
what the fuck?
She's like, the fucking Simpsons? What a bad take. And I was like, what? Like, foot down? Like, no. And she was like, I guess I've never watched The Simpsons.
That's such a weird, like, strong opinion to have.
I'm gonna pull out the fucking messages, because this like, angered me more than I should rationally be angry.
That's such a weird, like, oh, I've never watched The Simpsons, but it's bad.
Oof. I just judged you for that answer. There are so many better shows than The Simpsons. Kind of a TV snob, I guess.
Oh God,
who is she? Is she hot enough? And then she's like, she's like nice, but this, this is the side of her that I'm not. Then she says, out of all the takes, this is by far. I said, out of all the takes, this is by far your most egregious one. The Simpsons' first 13 seasons are fucking gold. She's like, I guess I've never watched The Simpsons. Just always immediately decided no.
You'd fucking
what
take
the
her
fuck, bitch?
Ludovico technique her to fucking watch anime.
Some Clockwork Orange her doing fucking. And oh man, yeah. Anime and The Simpsons.
You will like a
one eye has anime and one eye. You will like a poo. Yeah.
You get just all of One Piece just going on.
Yeah. In one eye, and then the other eye is just playing fucking Homer's Enemy on loop. I'm just like, it's good, right? And they're like, oh!
No, please, I'll never say The Simpsons is bad again.
Now they'll be forced to quote One Piece and The Simpsons. They'll know how I live every day.
Like, I just don't understand people. Like, if you're not a fan of something, just say that. Don't just say, fuck that thing, I hate that thing. It's like, okay, you don't have opinions on it because you've never fucking watched it or played it or done anything with it, so what are you saying you hate it for?
If she said, like, I've never seen it, but it doesn't really seem like my kind of show, we could talk about that. Yeah. But when you're just like, The Simpsons, ew, I'm just like, what?
And then you go on to say I've never watched it? Come on, Doc.
I think there was the idea that, like, I actually... Because most of the time I'm like, yeah, whatever, blah. But then, like, the moment she said that, I just, like, was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I think she was, like, she backtracked.
That's an attack. That's a fucking direct attack on you.
Yeah. It's a direct attack on media. I guess I'm a TV snob, I guess. It's just like, what?
You can't be a TV snob if you haven't seen The Simpsons.
And not like The Simpsons.
It's literally how...
And have your favorite show be Parks and Rec. You can't be a TV snob and also have your favorite show be Parks and Rec.
Yeah, say your favorite TV show is fucking Fargo or some shit, dog. I don't care. Just not Parks and Rec and say you're a TV snob.
If she said Twin Peaks and then she's like, oh, I'm more into like... It'd be like, okay, I understand who you are, but I understand who she is now. And I'm just like... You basic ass white bitch.
Makes me angry.
Yeah.
God, I've been wanting to watch more TV recently because I'm... Actually, that's not true. I'm not bored of video games. I bought Hades the other night. And Hades, very good game. Recommend it. Should have won more awards at the Game Awards, but again, who cares?
That's with the fat tit robot, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, that's Hades.
No, Hades is the sequel. Cool. There's two of them now.
Hades nuts.
He's got fatter tits in this one.
Yeah, no, it's about Greek mythology, and it's a roguelike. Roguelite mostly because you don't fully start over every time you get power-ups and stuff, which I kind of like that model more, I won't lie.
Well, it feels like you're progressing.
Yeah, I like the progress feeling way more than I like fully restarting, depending on the game, of course. But, yeah, I can really fully recommend Hades. A lot of good dialogue. Everything fully voiced, very cool. Really nice.
I like what Crypt of the Necrodancer does, where it's like you go through like stages where you'll restart the stage every time you die. But if you clear that stage, you can then go on to the next stage, and you just, like, keep retrying that stage in particular. So there's, like, different levels, and there'll be, like, 5 different, like, areas for each level, and then a boss fight. So you get the sense of progression because you get good enough at that level, and then you clear it, and then the next level has a bunch of, like, weird shit that you haven't seen before, so you kind of have to do that all over again. And, I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah, I like... roguelike games that have like side grades more than direct upgrades, or just like unlock different play styles, that kind of thing.
Binding of Isaac.
Binding of Isaac's a good example. What's it called? One of the ones I really liked from, I believe it was about a year ago, is Into the Breach, and that's like a very like tactical roguelike. It's not so much like an action-heavy roguelike. It's like a chess game, in a sense, because you have, like, perfect information, in a way.
The problem with things that... I guess it's not, like, a problem, but I always just think it's funny whenever a developer is like, here's a bunch of different play styles that are all equally viable and nothing's better than the others. Every time, the community will always find a way to, like, optimize it. And they're like, no, if you're not picking this character, you're doing it unoptimally. Like, you have to pick this character with these relics, and then
I don't think anybody ever suggests that every playstyle's, like, viable. Like, every playstyle you can probably win with, almost, maybe. But not every playstyle's, like, the best, or, like, the same.
But I do think it's funny when...
It'd be lame if that was the case.
It's true, there has to be one that's way better than the others. So
honestly, though, I think that is a good design philosophy for, like, certain games like that, like, what's it called, Risk of Rain, where certain combinations are inherently going to be better than others, but it's on you to figure that out, or the community, of course. And that just is something like an extra challenge for the community. You don't have to optimize every time if you don't want to.
Yeah, I don't mean like combinations. I mean like specifically like this character is better than this character for completing the game.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
true for a lot of those kinds of games.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. It's not like a failure on balancing's part, but I do think that it would be fun if you like regardless of what you played, there were like equal opportunities. I believe in a world of equal opportunities for all different games.
Going back to Risk of Rain, like there's the same relics for every character, but certain relics are going to work better for certain characters just
better
because of how they work. Yeah, they just have better synergy. So you can achieve like the same level of like DPS or whatever on different characters doing completely different kinds of things. So it's not just you're pigeonholed into playing engineer or whatever, depending on... It's just whatever kind of relics you get, you got to make work.
Yeah, I think it also just stems from my like need to make everything optimal. Like my fear of like going into a game and then because like whenever I see a bunch of characters, I look at them and I say, one of you is better than the rest of you, and I need to know which one it is before I start this game, or else I'm gonna tear my eyes out. The fucking, like, that's why Persona was so fucking hard for me, because I had to wait until, like, there were detailed walkthroughs on how exactly you should be spending every single day, and, like, what the optimal path for all of the different social links were before I could even beat the game. I couldn't even, like, start it before I was like, alright, I know what I'm supposed to do. And I remember when Phineas sent me the Stardew Valley, like, there's this Excel spreadsheet on all of the different things that you need to do for Stardew Valley, and I was like, well, I guess I'm restarting the game. Like, who the fuck cares that I'm like 18 days in? Like, it doesn't matter. I was doing it wrong.
You need to be optimal. You need to do this optimally. Yeah, Jack, you should play Factorio. Really dig your autism into that one.
Factorio?
Yeah.
Manage a factory? What is Factorio?
Well, yeah, kind of. You are trying to escape an alien planet, and you gotta build your factory up to make more and more different kinds of like materials and resources and stuff like that. Hyper autism game, but it's very fun.
It's all about min-maxing.
It's kind of resource management. It's about like organization.
Oh, that's my favorite.
It's hard. I'm bad at it, but it is fun to do. So
you wouldn't be able to tell if you look at my room. Ooh, that'd be down. You wouldn't be able to tell if you look at my room, but I'm all about just like organization, min-maxing in my fucking games.
Putting shit where it belongs.
Yeah, I do like whenever you steal like a stack of like cobblestone from Phineas's chest. Or
yeah, he's like, I noticed.
He's like, oh, I noticed. I check those every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Just to make sure everything is in its place.
Every little block.
I'm like, I appreciate that.
Like, you're fucking crazy, bro. You're insane.
I don't know. I just like I don't know what it is, but games just bring that out in me because like especially with like stuff like Minecraft where there is no way to win, but there's ways to play the game better. Like there's ways to objectively just play the game more aesthetically pleasing and more than like better.
More better.
And the besterer. So yeah, I can't do it.
No. I bet you can. I bet you could get real good at Speaking of Minecraft, I watched apparently last night some people like the fucking mods of like the Minecraft speedruns were like, yeah, Dream cheated to get to do his Minecraft. He's like the most popular Minecraft YouTuber currently. I mean, I don't fucking watch his content at all.
I've only seen like a little bit because I remember I was watching like a Philip DeFranco thing and he came on and he just seemed very cringe. He seemed.
I mean,
he seemed like Nux Taku-esque.
I don't know why he has like stands the way like fucking K-pop people have stands.
He seems to have stands in the same vein that like Leafy had stands.
It's fucking weird.
Where he had like a community around him because he's like an edgy, cool like thing that 14-year-olds who don't have anything else to do with their lives. Because they don't get fucked by girls or lesbians with big noses.
I don't think he didn't cheat on any like record attempts. He just cheated while streaming, and it was like they did like mathematical analysis. Because in the current 1.16 speedrun of Minecraft, in order to like get the ender eyes and like ender pearls that you need to get to the end, you have to trade gold to piglins in the Nether. And the drop rate for ender pearls from those piglins is like 4.9%. But he was getting like, he got like 43 ender pearls out of like 283 trades, which is, mathematically was like extremely impossible.
It's just, well, like, I guess that's something where I hate when like mathematically extremely impossible is used as justification for like he cheated. Because like,
no, but this is over multiple runs. This is over like 3 runs.
So like he did that every time.
It's not like he just got lucky one run. He got lucky consistently. Every run. And he got lucky with like some other with the blaze rods. He also analyzed that because the drop rates for that are also like increased for him noticeably. So it wasn't like he was just doing it for the content, I imagine.
Which like who cares?
Yeah, I don't really care about it.
I don't care, but if you're trying to pass it off as like a real run or whatever, you're kind of being
if he's like putting
deceptive.
a run up on like the leaderboards, if he's like I have the world record now because I cheated. fuck him. But if he's going through and he's just like, I'm gonna speedrun Minecraft today, guys, and he just does it, doesn't even get close to the world record, doesn't even get on the leaderboard, but he's just like, oh, I'm doing this for the content. Yeah, you'd probably want it to be like not have as much grinding, because guess what? You know what content kind of sucks? Throwing fucking gold.
Yeah, you're a fucking Minecraft speedrunner. That's what you do. I mean, people hate the new 1.16 speedrun anyways, because that's what you have to do. But if you're gonna do that, speedrun a different fucking game. Don't fucking pretend like what you're doing is speedrunning.
Don't pretend like what you're doing is fun. Do the boring parts a ton. Do the boring parts
more. If you don't like to do it, then don't do it. He feels like he has to do it, but then he has to cheat to do it. So
no, he doesn't feel like he wants to do the parts that he finds fun, and then he doesn't want to do the parts that he doesn't find fun. And the parts that he doesn't find fun are like
speedrun a different fucking build of the game. Don't speedrun 1.16.
That is
a thing. That is a speedrunning thing. People will speedrun different patches of different games for different.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if he already had, like, the effort in just saying, like, you know what, I'm just going to speedrun this version of the game because I like this version of, like, maybe there's other shit that he likes about 1.16 that is not in the other games. Or it's not in the other patches.
Maybe.
And, you know what? Like, whatever. Like, if he's not going on the leaderboard, I don't give a shit.
I mean, I think it might have been, like, a thing, like, why the mods had to step in is because there were still submitted runs.
Okay.
Which is, like, they wouldn't give a shit if he didn't submit these as runs, but you still submitted them, so it's like, well, what are you trying to do?
Well, that's shitty then. But if he's on just the internet and not actually submitting any of these runs and just playing through the game like this for content, like, yeah, like most people would cut that shit out of their fucking like streams or whatever, just because they'd just be like, well, no one actually wants to see this.
Just play Minecraft, lol. Just play the game, don't speedrun it, Billy. It's okay.
So do you have to give gold to pigment now in this?
Like, you don't have to, but it's the fastest way. Yes.
Okay.
The beauty in optimizing a game, so it's just very boring. That's what gets me rock hard.
I do like speedrun optimization. I like watching that kind of thing because it's fun to see like the strats that develop. But once the speedrun optimization is over, then you're like, okay, this sucks. Okay, now I'm the.
They're like the speedrun optimization or speedruns are very interesting at the very start because like Super Mario Odyssey and stuff, there's a bunch of people trying different things.
Yeah.
And they end up like yielding different results, but then somebody finds one that's like, all right, this is objectively the best way that you can speedrun this. Everyone does that, and then like 5 years later, someone's like, "Oh, look at this trick!"
Just kidding, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when it gets interesting again. But it just like it dips in quality.
Yeah.
When there's just nothing new going on, it's just people trying to play the same game over again and just, you know, barely getting certain parts of it.
There's some games that are just fun to watch speedruns of no matter what. Like, I like watching a lot of the Souls speedruns, but I also like to watch, I watch Clint Stevens a lot as a Super Mario 64 speedrunner, but I don't think, Super Mario 64, it's fun to watch speedruns, because it's like a very active, like...
It's very, like, parkour.
Very intense, you have to do a lot of really hard inputs in that game. But I also don't think I'd like it as much if it wasn't for Clint, because he's a very entertaining personality.
I think that, like, with Super Mario 64, it's active in a way where if you're not paying attention to the screen and morphing your run around, like, what is going on the screen, like, the parkour that you have to do in order to get the best time requires you to be attentive to the environment. But there's a lot of speedruns where it's so meticulously mapped out that it's like I can just not look at the screen the entire time, and I'm just gonna beat
like muscle memory.
A lot of Super Mario 64. I feel like it's muscle memory for sure.
Yeah,
you see it a lot with Clint because he constantly is talking to chat. He's not like not attentive to chat. He just knows exactly what he's doing constantly, and you're like, oh. Okay.
What was that? We watched like Super Monkey Ball speedrun.
Oh yeah, the Super
those
Monkey
are so
Ball
fucking
speedruns.
cool,
That
dude.
shit's tight, dude.
That was pretty cool.
I one of these days I want to just I remember because I think with you guys because with a couple of friends I got high as balls, and we were just like trying to find out what to watch, and I was like, check this out. And
check this shit out.
And we watched fucking Super Monkey Ball speedruns for a little bit, and it was the coolest thing in the world, because you're like, what the fuck? How did they just... Because there's a bunch of them where they just go really fast down the slope, and you're like, alright, that's cool. But then there's a bunch of them where they like flip it, and the ball goes spinning, and then they land in the finish line. You're like, holy shit.
Are there like glitches used in the Super Monkey Ball speedrun? Because it feels like they don't have to.
Yeah, I feel like a majority of it's just using the in-game physics engine. And I think that's way more interesting, because like the glitchless speedruns on Super Monkey Ball would probably be way more interesting than just trying to speedrun it to get it.
Well, I don't know. Like if the glitches would even be faster. I don't know if they use them.
Yeah, I feel like you could just like tilt yourself a little bit faster. I don't know. That game is like meant for speedrunning though, because it's the idea where you're.
Well, it's timed every time anyway.
Yeah, it's super timed, and you're also like going so fast that a normal person wouldn't be able to keep up. But the idea of speedrunning is just like, I know this thing so well that I can go this fast and like shave this much time off of it, and it's beautiful.
One of my favorite speedruns to watch is the Dark Souls 2 reverse boss order speedrun. You do the bosses in the opposite order by sequence breaking the game.
That's hilarious.
By using this, it's called like bino boosting into like parry walking. Which, God, I love speedrun tech so much because it's so fucking stupid. you're like, this. Who the fuck figured this shit out? Who's the fucking weirdo who just was like, yeah, time to work on labbing this all day and see if I can figure something out with this. But, like, bino boosting, there's, like, binoculars in Dark Souls, and you do something while you have the binoculars up, because I think...
Bino boosting. That's such a dumb name for something that's just binoculars.
Well, like, it, like, zooms your camera in, and then, like, while you're doing that, it, like, it increases your run speed, like,
that's like Wind Waker.
Permanently.
Yeah.
It permanently increases your run speed, and then, you do parry walking on these one enemies that are, like, little short, like, fat goblin guys. You parry them, and then you get this really specific roll where you roll right through them, but it increases the height of your player as you're rolling over them. So you do that, and that makes you able to like walk over areas and takes you out of bounds. And then you can like start walking outside of the area and like roll down while you're going. Or you're going like super fast this whole time because you're bino boosted as well. Shit is so fun to watch. It's so stupid.
Fucking like, have you ever seen those Wind Waker speedruns that are just like the ones that take like 10 minutes to complete?
No, I've not.
Because what you do is there's like this weird thing where you can like roll. It's like you roll into like the dock like 50 times, and then you get in the water, and then you like zoom in on the camera, and then you just go super fast. Like you just teleport basically, but you're just going insanely fast through like the water or whatever as Link's swimming, and then you just end up at Ganon or something.
Yeah, isn't that a thing in them like the Mario speedruns as well?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You just like build up momentum a lot, and then you fucking let it go.
Yeah, I think that's such a cool like idea. Yeah. I mean, like those are the kind of glitches that I really enjoy. The stuff that basically involves just like the one because the any percent with glitches like speedrun of like Pokemon Red and Blue, there's just a way where if you put a certain thing on your starter name, I think, or your name, it just teleports you to like the end of the game because it gets you to like this point where you can start editing the code like of the game itself, and so then you can just put yourself into like congratulations champion, and like that's the game, and it's just like okay, there's no thoughtful like decision making that needs to be made here. And all that someone discovered was like, oh shit, you can edit the game like this. I guess let's edit it to make it the end.
That's pretty fun. The new Demon Souls had a new glitch that wasn't in the original one, which makes the speedrun very boring, because there's this sword called the Blue Blood Sword that scales based on luck, and there's a new item that they added, because they added a couple new items to the remake, which is kind of interesting.
As DLC. Pre-order bonuses.
There was some pre-order bonus items, which are kind of shitty, but whatever, I don't really fucking care about that. They're not good items, they're just like cosmetic stuff, really. But the new item they added was like a gold coin, and it like temporarily increases your luck. And there's something you can do to like make that like luck like scale up to like a fucking billion or whatever, and then you then you can keep it permanent if you do that. And so you just use the blue blood sword and literally one-shot every boss. one or like two-shot every boss, and it's just not fun to watch.
That's so funny.
You don't have to do the boss anymore, so the whole point of the game is now ruined.
I think that's, like, it's
patch
dumb.
that, but it's still, like, stupid to watch.
I don't know, whenever you have, like, a luck stat in most games, I always just think that's an interesting stat to have, where you just increase the chances of, like, your rolls, basically.
It's just item drop stuff, yeah usually. Because
occasionally in, like, really deep, like, very, like, tabletop-y role-playing games, it just means that your rolls are, like, more likely, so instead of, like, 1 to 6, it's like 1 to 9 on a D20, and so you're just like, oh well, this makes this much easier, and it just seems I don't know, it's a weird stat to like have in the game when I guess like instead what you probably should be is like, oh, you get higher rolls based on your charisma in this situation. That's
usually how it is in D&D. It's not just like luck effect. I don't know if there is a luck stat in D&D actually. I'm not certain if that's the case. It's been a while.
Yeah, no.
But depending on the RPG, it's like, well, if this luck stat shouldn't be affecting anything relating to the other stats, in my opinion. Otherwise, what was the point?
Your critical hit chance.
I guess, crit chance, but that's about it.
I mean, like, crits it's so weird. Seeing, like, people who, like, Nuzlocke games for Pokemon, which... for those not in the know, is just the idea that you will, go... It's a Pokemon challenge kind of run, where you can't use items in battle. When a Pokemon faints, it's dead, so you can't use it anymore. And you can only catch the first Pokemon you encounter on every route. So the moment that you see it, so you could just get a bunch of, like, really shitty encounters, and then have to go through the entire game with that. But, like, people will, like, die to crit chance in a lot of those, because it's just like, oh, I got critical hits, so all these Nuzlockers just have to play around, like, crit chances, where they'll be at, like, basically full health with a chansey, so it's like, there's no way I'm gonna die, but they're just like, well, I have to play around crit chance. They switch it out and, like, switch it into something to, like, sack it, so it dies. It's so weird.
Rest in peace, that other Pokemon.
They're tools. They're tools for me to use.
They're merely sacrifices.
I do like how... did you guys ever watch the Pokemon anime at all?
No.
I watched a little bit of it.
Do you watch, like, Gen 4 Sinnoh Pokemon anime? Because that was around our time.
That.
No, Billy.
I don't know. I watched it when I was, like, pretty small.
Okay.
Like
I did
5,
not watch
6,
it consistently.
Okay. So I think I watched it around like 11 or something. I don't know. Maybe, but I know in the Pokemon Gen 4, like the rival of like regular Gen 4 kind of sucks. It's Barry, and he's just like a very energetic like friend rival.
Barry.
But you're gonna get a fine. But the rival in the anime is named Paul, and he's just a guy who plays Pokemon like you play the games, and he's just like treats all of his Pokemon like shit. And he's like grinding them all the time, but in the context of the world, they're just like horribly like they're just got like the shit beat out of them all the time. And like the Chimchar that he has, who he's just like, well, that has this really powerful Blaze ability, which means that like when it's in a very dire situation, it powers up its fire attacks. So I just beat the shit out of it all day, every day. So hopefully its Blaze ability will come out again. And so there are multiple points when like the Chimchar is like on the verge of death, and they take it to the Pokemon Center, and he's like, I'm just min-maxing, bro. Like, I'm just trying to beat the game. And so he's like,
don't play me, bring me in, bro.
And he plays the game in a very interesting, like, he plays the game like someone who would play the game plays the game, where they have a shit ton of stuff where it's like there's coverage on all of his different Pokemon, so he has like good type advantages for all. I mean, he's pretty interesting. He's just like an actual player, and then Ash is just some dumbass who's just like, but I love my Pokemon. And this was before, Pikachu. And in Gen 4 there was nothing where it was like, oh, you can like pet your Pokemon and Pokemon Me after like Gen 6 and stuff, but Pokemon in Gen 4 were literally just like pixels and tools. Like there's no affection bonus that you could possibly get from them. It was just fucking like use them as tools, and he's just like, yeah, of course.
I mean, yeah. I'm surprised more people in that universe aren't like that. You know,
well, it's supposed to be for kids. I mean, you don't want to.
Well, I
teach kids.
I'm trying to. Yeah,
they're tools.
We gotta let them grow up. Pokemon's grown up, and I don't think the people who play it now are as young as they used to be.
Well, I mean, I'd say there's still a bunch of
there's still like ushering
children.
There's
a young audience,
in, you know, like that they keep
but fuck them.
I mean, that's why in the recent games, I think in Gen 8, they're like, your rival's like, do you know how to catch a Pokemon? And then it's just like, yes. And it's like, cool, I won't show you.
Yeah.
And it's the best thing they've ever added to Pokemon.
The only new feature they've ever added.
Yeah, I mean, Gen 8 has some really nice quality of life bullshit. Like with, I guess, because now the move reminder's not based on, like, heart scales or anything. So remember whenever you had to, like, reteach a Pokemon a move? There was, like, always really rare things that you had to bring to some guy.
I remember trying to catch, like, a bunch of love discs to get the fucking heart scales. I'm like, fuck this.
Now you just go into the Pokemon Center, and there's a guy who's like, you want to relearn any of your moves? Cool. And it's free. Like, it doesn't cost you anything. You just go in, you do it, and it's great. And there's also a lot of ways to, like, EV train efficiently, and, like, basically just... There's never been an easier time to, like, make a competitively viable Pokemon, which is super nice, because those used to be incredibly hard to make. But it's probably not... That doesn't mean anything to anyone besides, like, the top 1% of people who want to play fucking competitive Pokemon.
Yeah, those people are cringe.
They're cool.
No.
I'm people. I'm those people.
You're cringe.
Whatever, fuck you. You'll get fucking destroyed to my fucking Togetic. Togekiss team.
While we're on Pokemon, let's move on to Nintendo and how shitty they are recently. Acting like some real fucking cunts.
I hate the Melee community. So this has been nothing but glee for me. I hate...
Well, fuck Melee, but Nintendo's still being a cunt about it.
Yeah, sure, but, like, when you see, like... When you see, like, a fat, sweaty asshole who just, like, shits his pants all the time, get, like, the shit kicked in by a police officer, you're like, well, I hate both of those people, but, you know, he kind of had it coming.
He's kind of fat.
Enlighten me on this.
Okay, well, there was going to be a big ol' online Melee tournament because of this new software, Slippy, or some shit, I believe, that lets you play Melee online, which is crazy, and it's obviously not licensed by Nintendo, so Nintendo had to shut the tournament down because they were using this software, which is not proprietary, even though they don't even fucking sell Melee anymore.
Yeah, well, it's not even a thing about that. Like, it's legal to do that. They were just assuming that everybody who was using that, like, had pirated copies of Melee.
What the fuck?
But I can almost guarantee you, anyone who was entering that tournament has bought a fucking physical copy of Melee.
A GameCube with Melee. And their Cheeto-soaked fucking N64 controller.
And they paid $200 on the second-hand market that Nintendo didn't see a fucking dime of to buy a shitty old, or, like, to buy an old-ass, like, GameCube game. Melee's amazing. The community sucks,
But yeah, so they shut that down. They also stopped people from selling Etika Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Which is really poor taste.
Well, because all the, like, profit was going to charity. Like, it was going to, like, mental health charity.
Mental health charity stuff, and Nintendo's like, nope, can't have that.
Yeah, can't do that.
Wait, what is Etikon?
So Etika is a guy who is like a Nintendo content creator, and he was known for his very like boisterous and loud reactions. And then he killed himself a couple of years back.
No, it was the end of last year.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, it was recent.
Damn, it feels like forever ago that happened. But
yeah.
And so a lot of people, he was really excited about the Switch, and he was like, Joy-Con Boys was this thing, and so people have adopted that, and those guys were making Etika like themed Joy-Cons to be like, and we'll donate all the profits to like mental health charities. And Nintendo is like, well, you can't do that.
You can't have that.
Yeah.
And then they're also DMCAing all of their music on YouTube, so you can't listen to Nintendo music anymore.
I also love how most of that, because I have a shit ton of Nintendo music just like downloaded because I knew it was gonna happen. Like, and I listen to like the relaxing Pokemon music all the time when I'm studying because it's very comfy. But the fucking like you can't get that music anywhere. Like there's no like CD or like official release anywhere of that. All of that music had to be ripped out of the cartridge because they never decided to sell any of it. And so
they're fucking weird.
It's just like, but they're like, but also you can't
you
show,
can't listen to it.
And, like it's not even something where the like, oh wait, we'll just take all the AdSense revenue because you know what, fair. Like they made that music, and if somebody came in and was just like, oh, I ripped it out and I'm just gonna play the music for an hour, and they were like, you know, we're just gonna take all the AdSense revenue off of that.
Sure.
Yeah, but what? Guess like. Shitty because they did all the work to like get that on there, but also it's your IP. But the fact that I can't listen to that at all now, it's just
I feel
so
like
dumb.
That's some legal thing where it's like if you aren't provided any other opportunities to listen to it, it's not illegal to do that kind of thing.
I don't think that's the case.
Maybe
I know that
not.
a big part of it is like you have to protect your copyright actively because if you go to court and if you aren't like striking down these things, if you aren't saying like you can't have our Pokemon music on there, and you go to court and actually try to sue somebody over legitimate copyright stuff, they can cite your lack of enforcement on your copyright as a reason for why they shouldn't be, because there was a precedent set there.
Yeah.
So but also, I mean, it's a weird thing, because it's not like most people understand where the line is, and because Sonic has like a fan game convention that's sponsored by Sega, and
Sega's
people
fucking tight about
love making Sega loves making Sonic fan games, and like they hired like Christian Whitehead, like a famous Sonic fan game.
Sonic
guy.
Mania was a Sonic fan game until they brought it in.
Yeah, and it's just like you look at that and you're like, oh wait, maybe you can do that, and the community won't just make... Because, I mean, there's a bunch of weird-ass Sonic shit, but also, it's not gonna hurt... Like, it's not hurting anybody, and I'm not really sure what because I guess, like, if they went to, like, China, and there was, like, a Chinese bootleg Nintendo who's just copying every single thing Nintendo is doing, that could be a problem, but with Sega, they're just like, yeah, whatever.
But there's also... You can do this selectively. You don't have to say everything's, like, cool for us to have in the open or nothing's okay. But Nintendo's just saying nothing's okay.
Again, the problem is, like, you have to do it blanketly.
You don't.
You have to.
You don't.
You do. Legally, you have to.
You do not.
Yeah, you do.
There is no way that is true.
That's 100% true. That's how you... In order to protect your copyright, you have to... either enforce your copyright or you don't enforce your copyright. And the idea is that most of those things went under the radar. So they either don't know about it or they have to be or the copyright has to be enforced. Like those are the only two. It's binary in terms of the US copyright system there.
But if they're trying to make money off of it, you can still enforce that because it's not a fan game at that point. If it's somebody trying to make like a copy a Nintendo game and try and make money, then they can be like, no, fuck you. But if it's somebody just making a fan game to put out there, then they don't have to say no, fuck you as well to that guy.
They have to.
I don't think that's true.
That's 100% true.
What? Okay, I believe you probably know more about this than me, but if that's true, that's fucking stupid.
That's the U.S. copyright law, and it is fucking stupid. It hasn't been updated since we fucking put pen to paper on the Constitution. Yeah. So they were like, oh, yeah, that's good. Like, that's the internet exists, we don't need to change any of this. All we need to do is make sure that people can fuck over websites. Like, that's the only real
people
change.
Who have no power, they deserve no power.
Exactly.
So, is there a reason why Nintendo decided to do
they're
all
just cunts.
They're
just cunts.
And is it like the US-based
stuff? No, it's
Nintendo?
Not. It's
from the Japan side.
Yeah.
Because I know they have like a...
US-based Nintendo doesn't have that much power.
It's Reggie in particular.
Yeah, he's retired.
He's going around.
Beyond the grave.
Yeah,
beyond the retirement grave, he's influencing Nintendo.
Well, he stepped down. He's like in One Piece, he stepped down like one of the like commanders. He stepped down like one of the admirals in the Marines, and now he's just like, you know, on the sidelines. But his sideline job is to strike down other people who have Nintendo copyright going on. It's great.
That's fucked up, Reggie. You shouldn't be at the Game Awards anymore.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah, how were the Game Awards like in general?
They're shitty.
They're shit. There was no Elden Ring. There was no Resident Evil 8. There was no Silent Hill.
When what's his face Dorito Pope said like Elden Ring, there I said it. And I was like, oh, we're not going to see anything on this, are we?
Yeah.
Did you see the Elden Ring subreddit after that?
No.
Where people...
Don't go on there.
It was like a joke that people were like hollowing on the subreddit after...
That's always been the joke, yeah.
But just like, there's like just the funniest shit where people... Like the reaction, the Game Awards like live thread was just the funniest thing in the world.
Actively hollowing.
I just remember it was like the last episode, very tangentially related, last episode of Tokyo Ghoul Route A, which was not good, came out on like April Fools, and it was just like all of this like terrible shit was going on, and the top comment on the discussion thread was like, we were the real April's Fools.
Damn.
And it's just like, oh, because he's stuck with the series that long.
It fucking sucked, oh my god. I just remember the animation quality really started to decline at the end of it as well. They'd have like all the guys sliding around instead of animating them walking, they're just sliding. That shit was tight.
That was awesome. That was so...
That shit was so fucking cool.
Classy
I miss when anime was that good. I miss when anime was like that.
I do, again. I think we've talked about this before, but anime, I guess, has always been bad.
It's always been bad.
We just didn't notice it before. We continue to watch it, but now we're just like, oh, I guess this is bad. And before we were just like, well, I guess I just have to breathe every anime into my every orifice.
Yeah, I feel like nostalgia for those shows, and I'm like, but if I watched them nowadays, I'd be like, this shit sucks. This shit was trash. Why did I commit any time to this at all?
I always think, like, whenever I think about that, I always think about when the supernatural becomes commonplace or whatever. That's like the quintessential like, wow, that show is just nothing. Like, that show was just like a pile of air, but
just seasonal trash they just consumed because
it was well animated at least, I guess.
It was made by Wit, wasn't it?
No, it was that was a KyoAni one, wasn't it?
I don't think. Maybe? I don't know.
I'm fairly certain it was like one of their in-between shows that just didn't hit it off as popular as the rest of them.
It was really well animated.
Yeah. I miss anime. It's bad. It's over now. Anime's over. No, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say...
Trigger. It was animated by
Trigger.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah, Trigger. Yeah, this is one of Trigger's in-between shows that people didn't give a shit about.
Which looks way better than most of their other shows.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Ninja Slayer. I remember thinking Ninja Slayer was fucking hype, and then I was like, why? Why am I watching this shit?
Were you hype after the first episode, or were you just
I thought they were gonna do, like, I had this fucking idea in my head that they were gonna do, because they had, like, animated sequences throughout Ninja Slayer, and I thought they were gonna, like, slowly make it so each of the episodes is more animated until the last one is actually fully animated.
That would have been kind of
That would have been interesting. It would have been something, I guess. It wouldn't have been, like, a good idea, but it would have been something.
It wasn't a good, but a funny idea, I suppose.
Yeah, it was a funny idea, I think, is what I thought they would do, but it just didn't ever get more animated.
Which, like, I honestly feel bad for, like, the person who made the comic, because...
Yeah, the comic's not badly drawn.
And they're just like, oh, dude, Trigger's gonna animate it? Hell yeah, dude, absolutely. And what happened...
What is Ninja Slayer?
So like, do you know what Inferno Cop is?
Yeah, oh.
Yeah, it's animated the exact same way Inferno Cop is, except for it's not a joke. Most of, like the story itself is a joke because of how poorly it's animated. But
it takes itself seriously in a way that's not supposed to be funny, but because they animated it poorly, it's funny.
Because it's fucking like sock puppets. It's just the saddest. It's not even sock puppets. The mouth
flash animation. Yeah.
It's fucking those cardboard pictures on like a stick, and it's just dancing back and forth. It's bad.
It's one of those weird like Facebook animation things.
Inferno Cop is great though. Is fucking gold. I think the thing was like no one could work on Inferno Cop for more than 1 hour a week was like the thing that was, yeah, like for all the animators and stuff, that was the thing that was set, so that there were multiple points where like the corners cut were literally because they had like 5 minutes left and they were like, and drag, alright. Like,
that's like a funny like project, I guess.
And that's why like the script is so bad and why like it's just, that's why Inferno Cop was funny, was because it was funny, and instead they were like, well, let's do the same thing but with something that a guy actually cares about.
That's trash his work. Maybe he approved, I don't know.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure like any like artist or whatever is just like, this will be pretty funny.
Yeah, whatever, fuck it, dude.
Yeah. I'm getting paid for this? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, probably sold some of his manga more than not, so...
Yeah.
Good enough.
Probably would have sold better if they actually animated the show.
Maybe not.
Or maybe people, went to it because of that, and they were like, well, let's see what the actual one's like. Oh, it's not.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, no, can I have
Oh, no,
this?
oh, yeah, totally. Go ahead. Oh, no, it sucks. Oh.
Maybe, I actually haven't read the manga, so maybe it's also bad.
I've seen art from the manga, and it seems fine.
It was like, there's like a spin-off called like Ninja Slayer Kills, which I bought 1 volume of for some reason because I like Ninja Slayer, and I was like, this isn't bad, but it's not funny or
I bought
unique.
1 volume of Parasite Neo for generally the same reason.
What is that?
It's a spin-off of Parasite where like the one about the aliens that come in and like infest different people's brains and arms and stuff. Except for it's just a bunch of different like short stories about different people who have parasites in their bodies and how their lives go about with that.
When did that come out?
A while ago. I think I bought it in like 2016. Like it was before I graduated high school.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll loan it to you if you want. I just constantly see it and I'm like, why did I guess it was kind of cool. Why did I buy this?
I got a few things in my manga collection that are like that. They're just like manga series that I liked, I guess, but I just read like a little bit of it. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy a volume. And I'm like, why?
I think I have like 2 volumes of like Defrag. that's
Defrag. I got some volumes of. I'm like, I didn't like this that much.
Yeah, I like the anime, but I like the anime. I didn't read the manga, and I read it, and I was like, yep, there it is. It's not moving.
There it is, Billy. There's Defrag.
Look at it go.
Yeah, where'd you guys used to go? Barnes and Nobles, right?
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, now it's closed.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. They closed it like very quickly. It was a very quick closure. Cause,
They didn't have like a fucking...
I don't think they were doing well
clearance
before
sale.
that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think they were doing okay, but I think it was a matter of like Crossroads was like, okay, you're gonna have to pay us a shit ton of money because we're gonna bulldoze everything, and to go around you would be way more expensive. So we'll just, yeah.
Yeah, when are they putting that fucking giant apartment complex there? When's that going down? Never?
2085.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing's been under construction for our entire lifetimes. Apparently, it was fucking popping back when my mom was our age. She was like, it was the first thing that ever opened that was a mall, and it was just huge. Like, everybody loved it. And
yeah, I miss malls. I mean, I guess...
They're definitely dying.
Yeah.
Sure.
To be fair, I miss malls until I go into a mall,
Yeah,
and then I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Place is ass. I like out west, because that one...
Oakview?
No. The one out west.
Westroads?
Yeah, Westroads.
Yeah.
Well, Oakview is west.
Oakview is west. That's
Okay,
more like...
whatever.
That's more like Midwest.
Whatever. Oakview fucking
Like
sucks.
us.
It's not a real mall. The place sucks. Westroads is cool because it's got like the levels, the floors. I like that. I like being able to look
the anime
down.
store, yeah.
They have an anime
They got a
store
Hot
there?
Topic.
Yeah, they've got a Hot
They
Topic,
had an
and they've
anime.
got a
Oh no, they
Suncoast,
do have an anime store.
and an anime store. They have an actual.
The anime store sucks though.
Yeah, it's like
fucking ass.
They have like 3 figures and like a bunch of very overpriced DVDs
And old comics as well. They got a bunch of comics.
Yeah,
there.
and a bunch of Pocky, and then they're like, all right. Buy something.
Well, they also just have a bunch of like Chinese knickknacks like on shelves.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta fill the store with something. I'm trying to sell my old manga collection here, and we gotta fill the store with something else.
Wouldn't that be really funny if somebody was like, "Hey, you can have this store for 2 months and just go, like, pay me $100 and just go for it. I think we could probably turn a profit if we just decide to sell all of our manga and fucking all of our anime DVDs. If we were just like, all right, let's try to sell all of this.
Somebody want to buy doggy poo? So unclear.
$300 for doggy poo.
Or a copy of doggy poo.
Everyone dies, doggy poo.
God, yeah. I like playing games where you like run your own store, so it'd be kind of fun to do that in real life if there was no consequence.
Yeah, I know. Just the idea, like, I mean, like, the consequences of, like, owning a property and just shitting yourself as far as, like, products are concerned is so bad. Like, you can ruin a big chunk of your life if you're like, oh, let's just make an anime store, and then no one buys anything from your anime store, and then you're in debt for...
I think my ex bought some Berserk from that store once. And apparently the guy was like really weird about it because she was like, he's like, oh, you like Berserk?
Oh,
and
no.
Like, yeah, I cosplay Guts sometimes. Like, oh, that's so cool. Let me see. You're like, stop, Billy.
No.
Let's go pick up some chicks at the fucking
anime store.
Some fucking high schoolers around the fucking mall food court.
Yeah.
That's, oh man, there's a game, the one GameStop in Lincoln has, it's like in a mall, and so in order to like go and grab anything that I need, or I'm just like, I need a game or whatever, I'll go to GameStop.
I need this game.
Well, it's just like, I know that it's there, so I'll go and pick it up. Whenever you like walk through, you see like a bunch of like high school kids, and you're just like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh god. Yeah, God, I used to miss that feeling of being in a game store or like a toy store and just being like, this is awesome. This is the coolest fucking place of all
Now it's
time.
so procedural. Now it's just
like, Jesus Christ, get me out of here.
Now it's like, do you have Soul Silver? I know you have Soul Silver. It's not in your case, but it says it on the internet.
I'm trying to buy the new pretty Precure game for Nintendo DS3. Please.
DS3. That's after the 3DS, because that was technically the DS2.
Yeah.
The DS3.
DS3. Yeah, that was the 2DS, was the DS3.
Yeah.
Actually, the DSi was the DS3, technically, right?
DSi was DS2.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That's
been
Oh, yeah.
Well, DS Lite, I guess, if you count that as DS2. It went regular model, like bulky, disgusting DS.
What does DS stand for?
Dual screens.
Dual screens.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
Dual screens.
Dual screens. See? Naruhodo ne.
Dude, I miss my
name.
DSi. I had a DSi XL. Shit was fucking fat as hell, but that means you could actually see what you're playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I played Mario Kart on that, and my siblings had like a regular DS and a DS Lite, and I would play Mario Kart with them because you could do like the little like Wi-Fi local plays.
Oh yeah,
DS. Shit was awesome.
That was awesome.
But I would actually be able to see what I was doing. Anytime I looked at their screens, like 5 pixels on their like shitty little screen, I'm like, oh.
I remember like
A little bit.
It was like the beauty of that was there was a bunch of games where you could download play. So if you didn't have like Mario Kart, you could be like, I could download.
Yeah, the download play was
That
fucking
was nice.
tight as hell, dude.
Because I remember I got a 3DS, and my cousin had a DS, and my parents were like, you need to go outside, because we were like at the lake. And so we got in the canoe and then paddled it out to the middle of the shore and played Mario Kart. And that was a beautiful...
I would not take that risk as a kid. I'd be like, no!
You're like, this is sick as fuck.
My DS is gonna get ruined.
I still have my 3DS from launch day. Like, I bought it in launch day, and
I don't know where my 3DS is.
Yeah, I still have mine.
I stopped working, so I guess I don't care.
I don't know why mine's not. My fucking R button's just done. Like, I've actually replaced that twice, but the fact that I played Smash Bros. On that at all just means that it's over.
Yeah, I have a Switch now, and it's just not the same as the DS days, man. Doesn't feel the same at all.
Well, I mean, especially because we're older now. Like, and we could just buy games that we want, as opposed to like your mom would show up and you're like, can I please get a crumb of Mario Kart, Mom? And now it's like, I want Hades, sure.
Yeah, I guess I'll just buy that. Yeah,
it's like, or like, and it's not even necessarily like, oh man, like I don't like, if you really want the game, you'll just buy it. Like, and if you kind of want the game, you just will, like, hold off till a sale. Like, it's one of those things where any time that you're, like, mildly interested in a game, you have the ability to. It's more just whether your, upper hemisphere just stops you from doing that.
My willpower.
Cerebral cortex. It's just like, maybe you shouldn't spend, $200 on this one limited edition for an anime game that you've never played, and I was like, maybe not.
I loved how my first instinct after I got out of prison, and by prison, listeners, I mean I did a clinical trial where I had to stay there for 2 weeks, but the whole time I was just adding shit to my fucking wish list cart for Warhammer figures, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy all of these when I leave, and I did. Because I made a lot of money doing that, and I'm just now stuck with them, and I'm like, I like these, but I don't have time to paint them.
Stuck with them.
I am kind of stuck with them. I'm not going to resell them ever, but I'll eventually get around to paint them, but I just feel like it was like a serious mistake just being like, yeah, I'll buy all of these now.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the thing where it's the equivalent of, like, gorging yourself after being very hungry, because when I got a job, I was like, I can just buy all the Pokemon cards I want, and then I gorged myself, and I'm like, well, I don't actually need most of this, and so now I very sparingly do that, especially because the pandemic means I can't play with anybody.
Yeah, there's no reason to. Well, I wasn't going to play any Warhammer with anybody either. I just don't have time to paint.
Yeah.
I'll paint over the break, I guess.
You were going to Henry Cavill it, or you just Warhammer by yourself? I appreciate that. I enjoy because, I don't know, going into, like, any Games Workshop, like, the smell hits you like a truck the moment that you cross the border.
Well, I haven't been to one since I got my sense of smell back, so...
Oh. Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
That was an advantage.
I was nose blind, yeah.
That's an evolutionary advantage. It's like, I remember we were talking about what the evolutionary advantage was for being allergic to peanuts. People who can't smell, definitely so they can just go into Games Workshops.
And or Melee convention.
Yeah. Well, they still get raped if they're young.
Whoa.
It's Melee.
It's the ultimate.
What?
Ultimate's the pedos.
They're all pedos.
They're all pedos, but Melee...
Melee just doesn't have enough kids running around.
Yeah, Melee's for old people, so yeah, there's not enough children.
Yeah, what a fucking horribly toxic community.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, it's just funny to see people, I watched, like, the Hungry Box documentary that Emp Lemon put out. And it's kind of interesting because it talks about how everybody fucking despises Hungrybox just because he plays Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Jigglypuff is just such a broken character, and he's the only person in the top 50 who even plays Jigglypuff at all. And it's just like, well, the reason why everybody stopped playing Jigglypuff, even though she's the best character in the game, is because she's so boring that no one wants to learn how to play her. And I'm like, really?
Kind of true, in a way.
Well, it's so true that I don't even want to win. I don't want to win.
It's a major scrub quote, but I wouldn't want to learn Jiggly in Melee either.
But if you
you really wanted to win, then
if your job like depended on you winning, there are people who like play Ice Climbers. And there are multiple ice climbers in the top 50 who literally just practice wobbling all day, which is grab A, and just keep doing that.
True.
So it's just the idea that you look at that and you're just like, okay, so that's engaging, but they're just like, well, not Jigglypuff.
Not Jiggly's playstyle. Well, Jiggly's playstyle, I think it's fun. I like playing Jiggly and Smash and stuff because it's like you are kind of like trying to time them out a bit or like keep them at a distance, but it's not the same every time.
Yeah.
It's like how you go about that and how you earn that lead. It's like it's like Floyd Mayweather. You got to be like a kind of boxer that knows how to like dodge and duck and dip, but also know how to like hit when you need to.
Yeah, and I think the beauty with Jigglypuff is that her mobility allows her to just kind of go everywhere, where you don't necessarily, like, you can have that, where most Smash characters are very limited in their movement options. Jigglypuff, like, the movement options are just, like, 8-way. Like, you can go, like, any of the 8 ways at any time and be totally unpredictable in that sense. And so I think that's pretty cool.
What's Kirby gonna look like with Sephiroth?
There's been a bunch of pictures of him with very luscious
I
locks.
see that, and
Do you think he's
like
gonna have
that.
the wing? Do you think
I
he's gonna
fucking
have the
hope
wing?
so. That'd be awesome.
That'd be Kirby as the one wing angel. Are you excited for Sephiroth?
Is he the new DLC
Sephiroth?
Oh yeah, he's got a big ol' sword, the biggest sword.
Is he from
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
He's the main antagonist of Final Fantasy VII.
yeah, and he fucks Cloud. Like he just rails him in the latter half of the first game or in that game.
How did people receive Minecraft Steve in general?
People liked it.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
They liked it.
People were like, because I mean, there's the joke that it was like, oh, I never want Minecraft Steve in the game, but it's like there to a lot of kids that's their Goku. That's their
ideal.
Yeah, that's their Terry Bogard. That's who they want in Smash. And I mean that he was an awesome character from a mechanics perspective. Really, really fucking complicated. Like it's funny because the character that is meant to appeal to like the kids, that's meant to appeal to the young folk to get them into the Minecraft, fucking the most complicated character that Smash has ever had by far.
Very true. Those kids aren't gonna even know how to play him.
Yeah, it's like you aren't block canceling all of your down smashes like.
I just gotta wait till they put a fucking Fortnite guy in, whatever his name is.
And default dance on him.
Yeah, and put him in the game, and then all the kids will be able to grasp that pretty easily.
Yeah, they're just like, well, that's the weird thing. Fortnite isn't a like non-complicated game. It's just the solved one where like the building mechanics do add some.
Shit. I guess they would put the building mechanics. Don't add the Fortnite guy.
Yeah, I know. It's, like if it was just a guy with a gun, I'd be like, sure, whatever. But the fact that it's like, oh no, now you can like build a fort.
Both Minecraft and
I can see the pickaxe.
Fortnite guy can build a fort, and you're like, oh, this shit's this isn't Smash anymore. This fucking sucks.
Evo Finals is just like build off where they're just like both building.
Both stuff. Build the blast zone and knock each other out up there.
Both build to the blast zone and then try to like snipe each other from there. And then the oh my god, the fucking like the victory screen from the Fortnite guy. It's like the winner is Fortnite guy.
His name is Jonesy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
They all the skins have names.
I don't know, but they could add John Wick skin into Smash.
They could add Master Chief.
Yeah, Master Chief.
They could have Red v Blue.
They could add fucking Kratos into Smash through Fortnite. It's not Kratos himself. It's just Kratos from Fortnite.
That would be fantastic. There's a really interesting thing where like. You can map out like any video game character to any video game character based on crossovers.
Yeah.
And it's like if a video game character's been in a crossover, they will have like they have the connection in some way.
They're connected somehow. Yeah. Some way.
Because you can just and like most of that's just they were in Smash.
So yeah. It's like it goes through Smash at some point.
Yeah. It's impossible to make it so you can't like route it through Smash. But if you try to go around Smash, it gets kind of interesting. I don't know.
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Exactly. That was always really interesting to see how any movie could be related back to Kevin Bacon within 7 movies. And I think it was like, wasn't it like an algorithm that was made?
I don't
like,
fucking know.
I remember like the guys who made the algorithm like went on Ellen, and Ellen was like, "Well, we also have Kevin Bacon here," and they're like, "We're huge fans." And Kevin Bacon was like, I thought you thought I was a joke. And it was just like, it's like, well, yeah, kind of, but also who spends this much time on a program if they're not like kind of fans of Kevin Bacon? Yeah. And if they weren't before, they certainly are now because they know everything about you.
They know every movie you've ever been in, Kevin. They know every child you've ever touched.
That's why he was so nervous. They were like, "Oh, we're big fans." And he's like, "I bet you are."
I bet you are, Billy. You have to be.
Who's this Billy? Who's this Billy character?
Who's Billy?
Yeah, are you a Nux Taku fan now?
Why does he say Billy?
That's his thing. Whenever he raids chat, he's just like Billy, Billy, Billy.
I have no idea.
That's his Twitch thing. He started that because I remember like a year ago he was going on and he was like, "Oh, we're the Billy Army, Billy, Billy. That's pretty cool, Billy," and they would call everyone Billy. That's Yeah.
That's not what I'm doing.
What are you doing then?
I'm using Billy as opposed to referring to someone by what they're called.
That's what he does.
But it's more funny when I do it.
It's true, yeah. You are Nux
You gotta talk down to someone when you refer to them as Billy. You can't refer to Billy someone like endearingly. You're like, okay, Billy.
Billy,
like they're a child.
What do you think of Nux Taku? Do you have any strong opinions?
I just know his PFP's fucking stupid and I hate him for it.
Who is this guy?
He's like a guy on YouTube who has like a really cringy PFP. So he has his profile picture is like he's white like a skeleton. He's got the Sans eye where it's like burning blue, and then he also has Gintoki hair from Gintama, and he's wearing like a jacket with a skull on it, and that's his. But he's also just like a memer, like that's his aesthetic. So I don't know. I'm not too over the moon.
Oh god, going from that to the spicy.
Yeah. This is about as sweet as it gets, and that's about
as savory as I don't think I could drink more of that. I don't know. I got a 25 ounce, and it's just too much.
Who's what 25? Like who's that for? 25.
Someone who wants a full meal while they're
someone who wants soup. And they're like, I guess I want to get drunk while I drink soup.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I'd say I would definitely drink a fucking little like 12 ounce, but that's just too much.
Yeah, a shot of that would be kind of cool. If they upped the alcohol content and then.
Is it only like 5% on this shit?
I think so. Yeah.
That's fucking lame. This needs to be harder.
It should.
All beer should be more alcoholic. Fuel my alcoholism. I've been drinking like my mom got me a box wine to sneak into my dorm, so I've just been drinking that every night of this week, pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah. Until it stops getting you drunk. Yeah, I did.
No. That's a whole other can of worms.
Until you're like, I need to drink more glass.
Yeah.
This isn't enough.
Like, wait a minute, I'm not feeling anything.
I think it might have been.
I just feel mad when I'm not drinking.
It might have been low alcohol content. I'm not certain. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. No, I don't know. A lot of my friends just became alcoholics over quarantine. Because I guess it was the difference between, there's a lot of them who, especially during like intense lockdown, they just bought a bunch of Corona and then they just started pounding it as like a joke.
Pounding the Ronas.
And then they just do that every single day, and it was
and then they're like, fuck.
It's like, wait a minute, that's kind of sad when you really think about it.
You guys are pathetic.
Pathetic.
Yeah, I'm reaching the alcoholism point, but now that I'm going to be out of school for a while, maybe I will drink less, actually.
Yeah, you don't have to numb the pain as much.
Yeah, alright, well, I think we're out of things to talk about, so...
I agree.
Goodbye, our little bricks.
Yes.
You are our little PogChamp bricks.
I guess you are my little bricks.